The good life, full of fun, seems to be the
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. Where are we going? What are we making? I say we take a trip to Milan. And I'll tell you, I had a great experience not that long ago, but certainly growing up as a kid, my grandmother would always make polenta, which is what we're gonna make today. And it's simple, and it's delicious, and it's rich, and it's something that is such a great complement really to any meal. More often it could be served just on its own. It could certainly be served with other meat dishes. We always had it made as polenta, but then there was some other things that Nona would always do that would just, absolutely send it. So that's what I'm gonna share with you today. I wanna share with you a great recipe from Milan, from a little town that my parents are from called Costioli d'Asti. And a couple of years ago, I actually was with my cousins, my cugina, up near Milan, and we had polenta night. I mean, literally, they brought out course after course of polenta served with other forms of accents, whether it was cheeses, whether it was rabbit stew, whether it was a red sauce, pomodoro sauce. I mean, everything they served it with was absolutely fantastic. So let me share some ingredients with you, and we'll start making some polenta. Hey, how you doing? Now, center stage on polenta is the cornmeal, right? So we're gonna wanna get a good quality cornmeal. And what's really interesting is polenta actually wasn't corn in Italy really till the 16th century. Prior to that, they would use different forms of grain, be it wheat or barley or what have you, and it wasn't really until corn came from Americas that it became known as really corn. And now it's only corn in Italy. So we want a good quality. Yellow is more traditional, though it doesn't have to be. So a yellow corn, and we want a coarse grain. So most of the rustic, if you will, farm is gonna be stone ground cornmeal or rough grain. So that's what I've got here. I've got that nice yellow grain. It's gonna be gritty, like a heavy, coarse grit in your hand. That's what you want. And that gives it a nice flavor. So you've got enough of the meal where it doesn't become a mush, like a total mush in your mouth. It's gonna give you something to bite into, a little bit more hearty. So we're gonna do a 4-to-1 ratio. 1 cup of meal to 4 cups of liquid. Okay, now we're gonna get into the liquid. So I see some people use water, which is totally fine. I always like to infuse flavor to whatever I'm going to make, okay? So whatever I can grab that's gonna actually add or lift flavor rather than dilute it. Water is a dilution. In this case, we're gonna use something to add it. So we're always gonna use a stock. In this case, we're gonna use a chicken stock. I'm gonna use 4 cups. You can use a vegetable stock or really a fish stock. You can use whatever you wanna do or have that'll complement a meal, okay? So we got 4 cups of our chicken stock. Now, as we're cooking it, we're gonna add some beautiful things. One is gonna be Parmesan. So we got Parmigiano Reggiano, okay? So I've got 1 cup grated, and then we're going to add some butter, and I'll show you how to do that and actually add it at the right time to really kick up that flavor. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter in this case. General rule, for every cup of stock you use a tablespoon of butter is the general rule, okay? Now, what's really common in the north, which is the way I had it, certainly how Nona used to make it for me, is my mouth's watering. We would use Gorgonzola blue cheese, obviously. So the Italian version of blue cheese, obviously it doesn't have to be the Italian version. We're gonna use about 1/4 pound of blue cheese for this. And again, there's a different way to do it and serve it. I wanna share that with you. We're gonna definitely use some salt. Now I like to use the gray sea salt, which is very briny, or a pink Himalayan salt, which is a little bit more briny. It's got a little bit more of an earthy feel. Why do I use pink Himalayan? Because it's sexy and it's fun. So we're gonna use a little bit of that. And then we're gonna use some olive oil. Now we wanna use the best olive oil on the planet. As you guys know, my regulars, right? I got a farm in Italy and we make our own olive oil. It's named after my 2 boys, Vito and Joe. Extra virgin Italian olive oil. And I'll tell you, it's fantastic. It comes from trees in the Puglia region, right above the heel. And it's grassy, it's earthy, it's peppery, it's absolutely delicious. And you can order it right online. We actually drop ship it right to your front door. I call it a trip to Italy right in a bottle. You can go right on our website, which is Cooking Italian with Joe, or you can go right to our Facebook, or certainly on the YouTube, there's a link right below. You can go right to it and go right to the order. All right, guys, traditionally, polenta served in like a copper pot, obviously because its ability to transmit heat, which is fantastic. So, you know, a lot of people don't have that. It's usually in a wide bottom with a handle, and you'll see traditional polenta pans, but really any pan will do. Just be cautious as far as getting the bottom too hot. You don't want it to get stuck or burnt, okay? So I've got a larger pot here to cook it. I've got 4 cups of liquid, so I want to have enough with that. Wooden spoon, you hear some people say wooden spoon's best. The benefit of a wooden spoon is I'm going to be stirring this a lot, and I don't want the spoon to get hot or the handle to get hot, so that's the advantage of a wooden spoon. And you can leave it right in there, and you don't have to worry about it, rather than the thick porridge type consistency, you keep taking it out, it's going to make a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to heat my stock, in this case my chicken stock. I want to get it hot, just below boiling. So we're going to fill up our 4 cups of stock, and now I'm going to put a good pinch, about a 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, it's just about ready to boil, so right then I want to put my polenta in. If I do it before it boils, and just do it nice and slow. The goal here is you just want to prevent lumps. If you're stirring it all the time, you're not going to have really an issue anyways. But I'll tell you, if you put it in before it boils, I've never had lumps ever, and that's the secret. Now what happens is we got about 20 to 30 minutes, and you're going to take that beautiful stock along with the salt and your cornmeal, and you're going to just let it slowly heat and absorb that beautiful flavor. And just like you'd make a risotto, it's going to soften the rice. In this case, it's going to soften them. You can see it. You see it hydrating it already. You can actually see the corn starting to swell a little bit already. Now, some people cover the pot. Some people don't. My attitude, I don't cover it. I leave it uncovered. I have it on a really low simmer. And the goal here, you just want the bottom to get hot so that it burns or clumps up on the bottom. So, you know, every minute or so, you got a little Frank Sinatra playing, maybe you got a little music. It's therapeutic, right? You're hanging out with your family in the kitchen, telling stories, and who knows, maybe you got some rabbit stew, or you've got some a bolognese going, you know, something going, an ossobuco, you know, who knows what else you got going. And you can see this is starting to do a beautiful job right now. So now we're gonna let it go. The key here is that longer period is gonna fully hydrate that corn. We don't wanna add any oils or fats right now, because the oil or fat sometimes can inhibit the absorption of the liquid, okay? So once this thing gets close, then we're gonna add all that deliciousness with our olive oil and our butter and such. All right, it's been about 25 minutes. I want to show you, we're not quite done yet. I want to show you what to look for. When I pull back polenta, you'll see there's almost like a clear liquid right there. I mean, we're almost done, but you're going to see like a clear liquid. When you see that, we're still not ready. We're still getting too much liquid that hasn't been fully absorbed. So you don't want to see any liquid in there at all. You don't want to see anything. It's just starting to get there now. I probably got about another minute to 2. And when we're there, we're ready to go. Once my polenta's perfect consistency, I don't see any clear liquid. It's got that nice thick porridge feel. And you're gonna take it as far as you want. If you want it really thick and you're gonna do something solid with it later, that's great. I like to make it a little bit more of a soft polenta. In this case, we're gonna serve it as one dish. So I want it nice and soft in that porridge feel. I know I'm ready to go. I got my Parmigiano Reggiano, I've got my butter, and I've got my Gorgonzola. So I'm gonna take 3 of the 4 tablespoons, okay? And I'm gonna give those a stir right in there. I still got the heat on really low, like as low as I could get it. And then I'm gonna put my Parmigiano Reggiano in, but I'm gonna hold back a little just for serving. And what I'm looking for is melting. I want everything to melt. Last, I'm gonna put my Gorgonzola in, and I'm gonna put almost all of it in, same idea. I wanna hold some back here. Look at that, oh my God. The smell in here is incredible. I'll tell you another great tip for this to come out great, and that's if you subscribe to our channel. How do you like that transition? So there's a little red button right down here that says subscribe. You click that. What it does is that any of our new trips, any new recipes, any great ideas, any thoughts that I have in regards to great Italian cooking or great foods, it'll come right to your inbox. You'll get that notification. And I'll tell you, it means a lot to me if you subscribe. It makes you part of the family, you know what I'm saying? All right, so I've got a spatula here. Let's put this right in there. Look at that. Why wouldn't you subscribe? My God. Have you guys got olive oil yet? And now to plate this, I'm gonna take that last bit of butter, my last bit of Parmigiano Reggiano, and then my last bit of Gorgonzola. And I'm just gonna spread it. All right, guys, my favorite time. Let's plate this puppy. So I'm gonna grab you know, a little bit of the butter, a little bit of the gorgonzola. Get a nice, and you're gonna get 4 to 6 helpings. And I mean, this would work well for me, I gotta be honest with you. I wish I was kidding on that. So I'm gonna hit it across, and almost like you would do a risotto, right? You're gonna just tap it, right? And you want it to be flat and even across the plate. Spread evenly, and that way, typically you're gonna just pull it towards you to take that bite. You see how you can see the grains right there? Just a little bit of the polenta. See how beautiful that is? And you got the gorgonzola and a little bit of the Parmesan, a little bit of the butter. Favorite time, taste time. I'll tell you, just the smell, the first thing that comes out, you can get that butter, the gorgonzola, a little bit of the Parmigiano Reggiano, you know, and then you get that sense of the corn, that milled corn, and a little bit of, you know, you don't taste chicken stock per se, but it's not diluted, you know what I mean? I mean, the cheese and the cream and the butter, the salt is perfect. And as you chew it, you know, that al dente type feel, you really get the flavor of the polenta coming right through the back. Boy, it brings me right back to my grandmother's kitchen. And I'll tell you, a fantastic dish in and of itself, just in and of itself, let alone something to complement really any meat dish. Molto delicioso. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click that red button. It means a lot to me to have you part of the family. Make sure you go online, whether it's Cooking Italian with Joe or Facebook, and grab yourself a bottle of Vito and Joe's olive oil, best olive oil in the world. I call it a trip to Italy in a bottle. And lastly, guys, don't forget, shut off the electronics and the cell phones and the TV, and surround yourself in the table or the kitchen with your family. Tell stories, get to know your mom, your dad, your grandparent. Everybody should share in that heritage and set some new traditions, certainly to carry through your family for a lifetime. Until next week, guys, bon
Good
appetito.
life, full of fun, seems to be the